Nomlaki is an indigenous language of Northern California that belongs to the Wintuan language family. Geographically, it sits right in the middle of the upper Sacramento Valley, traditionally spoken in what are now Tehama and Glenn counties. It was bracketed by its closest relatives, Wintu to the north and Patwin to the south. The Wintuan family is estimated to have a deep history in the region, with the language being about 1,500 to 2,500 years old.
Unfortunately, Nomlaki is currently a sleeping language. Currently, there is only one person who knows this language, Cody Pata, who is trying to keep the language going by speaking it on YouTube.
Kom holoi ko leaka. In khas bea. Uni leako Americanum. Bohe pom leaka. Nika leako le boda. Niman ak tumalebom.
Everything we know about it comes exclusively from archival documents collected over the last century and a half. The goal of creating a formal description of Nomlaki is crucial because, for decades, early researchers often overlooked it. They didn't think Nomlaki was different enough from Wintu to justify its own study. As a consequence, Nomlaki was the only Wintuan language without a detailed grammatical description until recently, when the grammar contained in the PhD thesis that forms the main body of written knowledge on Nomlaki was published.
Nomlaki has a complex set of sounds different from English, especially its stops like P, T, and K. Unlike English, which mostly uses voiced and voiceless sounds, Nomlaki uses 4 different sounds to make these popping sounds: plain, voice, aspirated, and ejective, which are those little popping sounds made using air pressure from the throat.
English uses a fixed subject, verb, object, or SVO order, such as, the man ate the fish. Nomlaki is primarily a subject, object, verb, or SOV language. In Nomlaki, the verb always comes last in the main clause, making it a head final language. If English were SOV, you would say, the man the fish ate. Furthermore, English relies on small separate words like to, from, and at, called prepositions. Nomlaki uses postpositions, which means that they follow the noun, and extensively uses suffixes to achieve grammatical structure. This means that Nomlaki is primarily a suffixing language.
A clear historical feature distinguishing Nomlaki is the complete loss of the Proto-Wintun phoneme R. This sound is retained in its sister language, Wintu. If Nomlaki borrows a word from Spanish that has an R sound, like serape, it often replaces that sound with an L, resulting in solapi. This confirms that the R sound was absent in Nomlaki by the time of Spanish contact. This is a recording of late Nomlaki speaker Sylvester Simmons to give an example.
It's going to rain.
Laha, laha, laha.
It's raining.
Lahan, lahan, lahan.
Nomlaki does not appear to have a dedicated class of adjectives. Nouns are modified and described using verbs or nominalized verbs. In English, we use a separate word class, adjectives, placed it before the noun, the good hand, while in Nomlaki, the verb stem changes depending on its function. If the descriptive verb appears before the noun attributively, it uses the nominal string. For example, Kam Gudnom hand. If the descriptive verb appears after the noun predictively, it uses the indicative system. For example, food good indic, translating to the food is good. This is like saying the house is green by simply saying house green is, where green is treated as a form of the verb to be green.
A fascinating and unique feature is the ablative case marker WA, which means from or source and is considered a special innovation because it is not found in Wintu or Patwin, Nomlakli's closely related languages. Furthermore, all nouns are marked as either particular T if they are a specific whole thing, like one whole animal, or generic S, M, or W if they are a mass or a general group, like meat or money. Finally, kinship terms are special because they must always include a unique possessive prefix, like my or your, and cannot stand alone, and these markers are used exclusively for kinship terms.
In conclusion, Nomlaki is a critically endangered language of the Wintuan family, and its study and archiving were previously hampered due to its similarity to its sister language Wintu. It is a dormant language, and efforts are underway by tribal members and language activists to revive and reclaim it. Nomlaki possesses several features that distinguish it from other Wintuan languages and native languages in California, such as four-way stops and the presence of an ablative case marker, which makes its further study and documentation even more important in the efforts to revive it.